Hola, Fran. How are you?
Hola, Jorge. Doing great. How about yourself?
Not bad, thank you. I just came from a visit to the Prado Museum, and just by coincidence, this is our topic today, the Prado Museum in 2 hours.
Let's get some music. So, yes, Jorge, today we're going to be talking about the Prado Museum in 2 hours. First of all, hello, everybody. How is everybody doing on the other side of the waves?
Of course. Hello, everybody. Everybody, just again, another week here. What a surprise. Here we are.
Guys, we're here. Welcome to Spanish Loops. Yay.
Again. Welcome again.
Welcome again.
Okay, so Francisco, go
Well, the
ahead.
thing is that when we were talking about this week's podcast, we're saying that we discussed that you were going today to a tour at the Prado Museum, and one of the things that we see is that not as tour guides only, also as tourists, when you go to a museum, it's overwhelming. And
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
to me, staying in a museum more than 2, 3 hours, although I love art and I'm art history, it's all about that, too much information, it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So we have decided to share with you the highlights of the Prado Museum in Madrid, because when you come to Spain, you need to go to the Prado Museum.
Oh, yeah. Not to Spain, when you come to Madrid, because you might come to Spain and not coming to Madrid. But when you are in Madrid, you have
Okay, are we
to.
picky or are we picky? When you come to
No,
Madrid,
we
for
don't.
God's
We're picky.
sakes.
Well, yeah, Francisco, you're totally right. When you go to a museum, unless you have, uh, what can I say, a list done by yourself of the pieces that you want to see, and you go straight to them, pieces of art, I mean, of course, into a museum. If you just go like wandering around, it's going to be extremely overwhelming. Not because we are tour guides, it's because from this our point of view, we're taking advantage that sometimes it's much better to hire the services of a guide that shows you the highlights, okay? And then once you're finished with the local guide, and that happens to you when you are in your hometown, that happens to me when I'm here, and that happens to any other guide. Once you're done with the guide, if you want to remain in the museum for a bit longer and just take your time and maybe see a piece which is not part of the highlights, but it could be your favorite in your list to
Mhm.
see, then go and see it. But just going to any museum without really not knowing what you're going to see, it is overwhelming. So we have decided in this chapter, isn't it,
Yes.
just to compress the visit of this specific museum in a couple of hours.
But please, 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 to our listeners, in the Prado Museum, we have one of the best pinacotheks, one of the best art collections in the whole world.
Yep.
So we are not going to be talking about some of the big masters because we want to condense the visit in 2 hours. So
Yep.
if you're coming to Madrid, if you're coming to the Prado Museum, take a note now of what, especially Jorge is going to be sharing with us today, because you have it fresh from 5 minutes ago.
Yep.
But please don't be offended if we don't talk about those paintings that you went to see to the Prado Museum and you loved them, because
Yep.
we just want to talk about the highlights. So
Yeah, that's
Jorge,
right. Yep.
let's walk into the Prado Museum. You
Mhm.
going to the Prado Museum, everybody has to go through the Goya main entrance, okay? Because in the Prado Museum, you have different entrances, all of them dedicated to one painters, Velázquez. The general entrance is by Goya.
It's by Goya, but let me clarify here, Francisco, that like about 20 years ago, the Prado Museum had an extension. There are
Mhm.
rumors now that they want to make another extension just to display more works of art that they are in the galleries hidden. They don't have physical space
Mhm.
for those other pieces of arts. So there are rumors about there going to be another extension, but who knows? But so it's just you have to go to Goya to get your ticket, the Goya entrance, okay, which is in the northern part of the building, and that's where you get your ticket, and then just go around the corner, and it's called the entrance of the Hieronymus monastery because the monastery is just there, just next door.
It's
It's
up
next door.
there, up the
Yeah,
little hill.
yeah, that's right. So my suggestion, like I guess Francisco, that's happening everywhere in the world. That nowadays you better get your tickets in advance
Oh,
online.
yes. Online.
Right?
Get
Yeah.
and the website of El Prado is quite easy to
Very
manage and go
easy.
around. So
Oh yeah, it's absolutely incredible how easy it is to navigate on that. And then you don't even have to go through the line. Okay,
yeah.
you just have to go through the line to enter the museum per se. So yeah, the Prado Museum is one of the I would say one of the most secure museums in the whole world because going through security is worse than going through an airport security.
It is, I mean, they're very picky about it. And
Yeah.
especially lately with all of these young kids spraying the big masterpieces.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Here
Yeah.
in Madrid, we have
Yeah.
incredible masterpieces and we're afraid that they might
Hmm.
damage them.
Yeah.
So
Right.
they take it very, very, very seriously.
Mhm. One of the things that happened to me today was that I was with my little backpack. You have to be very careful because backpacks are not allowed. So I just have a trick. My backpack is very simple when I'm touring just locally here in Madrid, which is one of those. I think they call them string shoulder bags, which is a very simple cord just around your
Okay.
shoulders. So what I do is instead of wearing it as a backpack with a thing
Mhm.
behind, I just wear it like a kind of a purse, let's say, just in one side. Just put it through the scanner. And when I went through the scanner, I had my badge there, so the guide, and then the the person, the security guard, said to me, "You're carrying a lot of things in your backpack." And I said, "No, actually, it's my receivers for my group, which is in there. It's a small group. It's a family of six that I toured today." And so they wanted to see. They want to see. So I had to open the bag, and of course, I didn't have the receivers in one inside my bag. I had another little bag, so I had to take them off. And yes, is what you said. They're very picky. They want to know what's going inside of the museum.
I'm happy with that. I mean, I know it's a
Water is,
hassle, but
yeah, so am I. But sometimes when they open at 10 in the morning, everybody wants to go in the first, and the line could be, really, really slow sometimes because of this security check. But anyway, this is something that we have to embrace and live with it because it's for your own sake and security.
yeah.
Okay.
So once you go through security on the right, you have the place to leave if you have a coat, if you're coming into winter.
Yeah, that's before security.
That's for before security.
Yeah,
And once you cross security, on the left is where you have the restrooms.
correct.
Okay.
That's right.
So now we are located. We are just entering in front of you. You will find the souvenir shop.
Mhm.
Right. So where do we go from here?
From there, we go to the right. If you need to
Okay.
use the bathrooms, we know it's on the left. And you know that the gift shop and the cafeteria is at the very end as you enter. But let's leave that for the very end.
For the end.
Then you just go to the right. And then it depends on the guide. I always said something that, and to my customers when I'm touring the museum or any of the museums that we are allowed to visit, that there is highlights. And in this case, they're gonna see my highlights. Okay, the one I like
Which,
most.
which I think are the highlights of the Prado. But
Yeah,
anyway,
of
so
course, of course.
let's
Yeah.
go.
Mm.
So
So what I do is instead of remaining on the ground floor, I go to the upper floor. Okay,
okay.
so it's which is in the elevator is number one. So if you turn right, excuse me, and you pass through the Hall of the Muses, which is that's the name of museum comes from, is the House of the Muses. So
Okay.
they display that beautiful hall there with all the muses and etc. etc. You keep going and you get into the elevator, go to the first floor, and then you get to the main gallery. I just always show a couple of paintings, well, maybe three at that time, and then we go by artists. The main gallery is compendium of several artists. Okay, there is the portrait of the Emperor Charles V. Um, they say that the Emperor is much more handsome than he
Like it
used to
really
be
was.
in real life. Yeah, that's right. Also, one of my favorite pieces is the Lavatory, which is done by Tiziano. And then another is the Three Graces of Rubens. Okay,
Hmm.
but then I just explained that because it's the main gallery, and that gives you perspective and dimension of the entire museum. Then you go to the side galleries. So I normally start by only because of convenience, instead of going backwards and forwards from one place to another, because of convenience, just to follow let's say, more or less snaky route, but going always in the same direction. I visit the rooms dedicated to El Greco, the
Ah,
paintings of El Greco. I think you have an opinion about El Greco, Francisco.
to me, El Greco, well, for
Mhm.
our listeners, El Greco, he came from Greece, but he painted most of his career in Toledo.
Yeah,
And in Spain, we have, between Toledo and Madrid, the largest collection in the world of El Greco
yeah, that's
paintings.
right. Yeah.
El Greco is the one who paints all of these elongated images.
Hmm.
Most of them, they are religious images.
Hmm.
To me, in this side of El Greco, it's one of my favorite paintings by El Greco, which is the image of Christ. It's a, it's just the face and shoulders of Jesus Christ, and he's carrying the cross. But the important thing is you see the cross, but it's his face. It is, to me, in his art history, it is the first time represented, and in a beautiful way, the human part of Christ, because
Hmm.
he is he knows what's coming, he knows what's going to happen, and he's crying. I mean, he's not crying. There's a tear about to come out of his eyes.
Hmm.
It is such a human, such a profound moment, that moment of connection with us humans, the Son of God. It's about to cry. It's ah, I love that painting. But the rest of the paintings, I mean, are incredible. You have apostles, you have the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, you have beautiful saints. You also have civil paintings like the man of the hand on the chest. How's it called?
Yeah, the man with the hand on the chest. That's one of my favorites ones about the Greco. Yeah,
It's
it's
so
so realistic, that one.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so beautiful, and that elongation of the body is trying to reach the soul. I don't know. It's I
Mm.
love El Greco.
Yeah. Yeah. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, another mini lecture about Franciscus and religion. Okay. And
Mr. Nerd. Yeah, me.
no, I find it fascinating, Francisco. Seriously, it's not because we are close friends. I mean, your interest in that type of nature regarding religious painting and religious
I
sites,
love.
etc. I just find it fascinating, and you have no idea how much I learned from you
Oh,
regarding this topic. No, no, seriously, seriously. I don't want to. I don't pretend nothing here. It's just, informing our listeners. But anyway, as we said, El Greco, and then just after El Greco, we go to, or I go to the rooms dedicated uh, to me, the best painter, sorry, in or artist in history, Velázquez.
Diego Velázquez.
Yeah, Diego de Velázquez, and I can't I can help, my devotion for that painter. His masterpiece called Las Meninas is something that I mean, you cannot miss it, and it has been considered by many experts in several occasions like the masterpiece of the masterpieces in the world regarding painting. I mean, that's we're not going to explain in profundity now the painting, but it is something that you have to see, the perspective, the idea, the how can I say, it was the very first time that a painter made a self-portrait together with the monarch, because the monarchs, believe it or not, they are also in the painting. We're gonna leave this cliffhanger here.
Yes,
Because
it's
we want you, our listeners, to find out to Google just the painting and discover where the monarchs are in that painting. I mean, it is just incredible. What's your opinion about that
so to
painting?
me. Okay, you have lived long in Madrid, so you have been many more, much more times than I have into the Prado Museum. To me, as a kid, I I've always been very drawn into art and art history, and I have always liked Las Meninas, okay,
Hmm.
which is the painting we're talking about. And I've seen Las Meninas in paintings and paintings, paintings, paintings in school. Okay, fine. The first time I went to see Las Meninas, I went to see El Prado, and the only painting I wanted to see at that time was Las Meninas. I was speechless. I couldn't believe how big it is, how deep. I mean, the the depth. You are part of the painting. It's like so incredibly beautifully thought,
Hmm.
so beautifully portrayed. I mean, you can feel the air inside of the painting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's so sublime. I mean, when you see it on Google, when you see it's great, but when you see the painting, it's like, wow. To me, okay, this might sound pretentious, but going to see the Meninas is worth a trip to Spain
Yeah.
just to see the painting.
This
Go
is
see the painting and
painting.
go back home.
I totally agree. Yeah.
I mean,
As you see, everybody out there, for both of us. I mean, yeah, Francisco, you're right. Probably because I live here, I've been there a few more times than you've been. But you know the painting really well as well. I know that. And for both of us, it's hard to describe that
yeah,
painting. It is just breathtaking.
it's breathtaking.
It's
There we go. I think it's
breathtaking.
just
Yeah.
breathtaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, along with the Meninas, you have other royal portraits that
Oh
are
yeah, yeah, yeah,
as
absolutely.
good.
Yeah, contemporary to Las Meninas, there's many royal portraits of the royalty as well, and then civil works that this
Velázquez.
artist painted, and yeah, I mean, it's just amazing the technique that he was using. Um, everything, everything,
Everything's perfect.
everything is just fantastic. So by that time, you probably have consumed since we entered and we have seen all the Greco part of the main gallery and then Velázquez. If you are with the on your own, just focusing in some paintings, you know,
Mhm.
the highlights of these artists, probably you have consumed for sure 45 minutes. I mean, and that is just rushing a little bit, okay? Then after Velázquez, you have to go back to the main gallery, to the end of the main gallery, and that's where the three graces are, okay, by Rubens, yeah, and then is when you get into the Goya area, Goya, our beloved Goya.
Our beloved Goya. Well, I would say not just Goya, the first part of Goya, which are the lights.
Yeah, but you know, we will talk about that in a few minutes. Before I forget, Francisco, let me just say that in our Spanish Loops YouTube channel, we have a lecture that we gave like about 2 or 3 years ago.
I think it
Remember?
was 2 years ago. It was right after COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, or even during COVID that we made a live lecture. So it's there. It's an extended video. It's like about an hour and a half, something like that. And we talk everything that you need to know about Goya. So guys, if you are listening to this in any audio platform, or if you're watching this on YouTube, just go to YouTube Spanish Loops channel, and it's one of the first, I would say, either the first, second, or third clip that we ever posted on our channel, YouTube channel. And yes, there is a fantastic work. Sorry, I don't want to put flowers on my own roof, you know, but I think that we both did a great job in that lecture.
The thing is that it shows that it's one of our favorite paintings,
Yeah,
and we just shared a little lecture about it. So
that's
yeah,
right.
we're
Yeah.
very proud of it. We're very
Yeah.
happy. We loved
So
it.
you go to the end of the main gallery, as I said, and then you have the royal portraits and the family of Charles IV. Uh, then you have around that area, you have in the same room sketches that he made of the faces, which are exactly the same as they are in the big, huge portrait of the entire family. And behind that portrait, there is a story. So this is another cliffhanger for our listeners. If you want to know more about it, just go to that video where it's playing in detail about that painting. Then you get off that room through the one of the rooms at one of the doors or the exits at the back, And then you have the way down to the lower floor. But before that, you have to go and see some other parts of the paintings of Goya. Then you have the majas, the naked maja and the dressed maja. Okay. Also, there is some other minor works, but I don't mean to say that they're not important. Also by Goya. Then is when you go down, and just below, in the same part of the building, just below those rooms that you were seeing, those royal portraits and the majas, excuse me, is when you have the paintings that they are, some of them they are sad, some of them they are strange. The saddest one for me is was are those that when we had the French invasion here with by Napoleon, and they are the shootings of May the 3rd and the fighting of the Mamelucos, which is, it took place also in the center of Madrid. Those are two very realistic and important pieces of art of Goya. And I know, Francisco, that you love especially the shootings of May the 3rd, don't you?
The thing is that Goya, when we think about Goya, we always think about it's like two painters in one because he has two faces completely different.
Hmm.
One is when you get to see all the royal portraits, the majas, all these, you know, this pleasure of details and all of these when he paints the lace and the brocades and the gowns and the shine of the pearls. I mean,
Mm.
he is perfect. But suddenly in 1808, Napoleonic troops come in Spain, and Francisco de Goya, he was pro-French, and he was expecting them to bring culture and liberté, égalité, and they brought death.
Yeah.
So his brain suddenly snaps and goes from that beautiful light and beautiful representation of the high-end society of Spain to his dark side. And the first painting, it is the Killings of the 3rd of May.
That's right, but still using the same technique. I mean, using the light in the same way he was using it for the first period of his life as an artist. But in this case, the theme was very sad, which is a
Sad.
war.
It's war. And
Yeah,
you see the French killing the Spanish people from Madrid. And from there, from that moment in his personal life, he just goes down and down. He goes, let's say, like in a depression or something, darker and darker and darker. And it's when he paints the dark paintings of Goya.
exactly. And then after those paintings, we were talking about the war. We see the evolution of a painter, and then you get into the room where all the dark paintings are. The dark paintings are was done by himself in the house that he lived here in the outskirts of the city of Madrid, and outskirts at that time. Okay, and there is. What you see, there are not paintings on a canvas. There are paintings on a wall, and there is a technique that uh, they could extract the paintings from the wall to and represent it into a canvas. Okay, it wasn't a painting at all. It was just like
A
plastering,
transfer.
transferring that into a canvas. But that technique is explained in our video, so you need to watch now the video just to learn how it was
To know
done.
how to.
Yeah,
But the importance of that room, it's major for art history.
yeah.
This is the beginning of the new way of painting. I mean,
Mhm.
when you see expressionism, when you see uh, Fubism, all the isms that will take place on the 20th century, this is 1800s. On the 1900s is when art changes. And
Yeah.
Picasso, is the predecessor, is the one that
Mhm.
sits. I mean, he's a master. He knows how to paint. He knows how to control light and shadows. But suddenly he goes dark, 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 and it's horrifying. And the paintings are, oh my god,
It's the
it's,
last stages of his life when he just
yes,
went deaf and he could hardly see. And yeah, there is, what I love about the display of Goya paintings at the Prado is that they are chronologically, they are perfect. They're
yes.
absolutely perfect, okay? And reflects all the stages of his life in his works.
I mean, I think you're so right. And
Mm.
something that I love. It's when you go see the lights of Goya, the rooms are white. When you
Yeah.
go see the dark part of Goya, the rooms are black. I mean,
Our
whoever
darker,
was a
yeah.
curator
Yeah.
did such an amazing job setting the mood,
Hmm.
okay, from dark light to darkness. It's
Hmm.
love it. I
Yeah.
love. If it doesn't show, I love the Prado Museum.
Hmm. Yeah. So when you have absorbed already what we said about the main gallery, the El Greco, Velázquez, and then Goya, you are almost done. You have taken
Yes,
almost a couple of hours, but there is another piece that you cannot miss, which is an unique. And we cannot value any of these works of arts in money because it's priceless. Okay.
priceless.
And just on the way out, because you are already in the lower floor, as we said, royal paintings and civil paintings are in the upper side. So then you go down, you see the second stage of his life as a painter, and then the latest stage, the dark paintings. Just on the way out, if you have had enough, you cannot miss. And we're talking inside of those 2 hours time frame we're dedicating today to the visit to the Prado, is the Hieronymus Bosch Garden of the Delights.
Oh,
It's a
the Garden
triptych,
of Early Delights.
and it's just,
Oh,
what can I say about it? I don't
it's
know. I don't
it's
know
a
what to say about
triptych,
it.
okay, and it's
It's
triptych,
a what? Say what?
triptych, un tríptico.
Triptych. Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it has three
Yeah.
parts into it.
Yeah.
It's one of these that closes the doors.
Yeah.
On the left hand, you have the Eden, you have Adam and Eve and beautiful. In the middle, you have all the mortal scenes that you can imagine. And
Yeah.
on the right side, you have the Inferno.
Yeah. That's right.
The thing is that it is such a strange painting. So, I mean, you could spend 2, 3, 10 hours in front of the painting going, there's 100,000 million images.
Details, so many details in there. Wherever you look at is something totally different to
Yes.
next inch.
It is, I mean, there's so many creatures. It's the garden of the earthly delights. And you have sexuality, you have uh, gluttony, you have sloth, you have everything
Hmm.
being represented.
Yeah.
And I I think it's very oniric, like dreamy.
Oh,
It's like
absolutely. Yeah. It's
totally
totally oniric.
way of dreams. Let's. I don't want to make a comparison with Salvador Dali. Dali, he's a painter of dreams. Okay,
Yeah.
Salvador Dali,
That's
the
right.
Melton watches. That, by the way, it's not at the Prado Museum; it's at the Queen Sofia Museum.
Yep.
The thing is that the Hieronymus Bosch, it's he paints centuries before Dali this dream world where it's like, how can a human mind think something so incredible and make it so beautiful? I don't
Yeah,
know.
and
It's
it shows you the perspective of a person that never saw an elephant, but he knew that that animal existed. So he painted, I'm talking about an elephant, like I could talk about any other animal that at that time was
a
very
giraffe or
exotic.
whatever.
Yeah. And, but you never saw them, but you had to imagine about the words that whoever told you how that animal looked like. So it represents there that's oniric slash strange point of view of the artist, and the representation of the entire thing together is just like you just said, just you can stay for hours in front of
Hours.
that painting. By the way, with this we're done. Okay.
So if you keep on walking, you reach the souvenir shop.
Yeah, of course.
Or and the
Of
cafeteria, by the
course.
way.
Yes, like any good museum, the exit is through the gift shop, of course. And the just let me add here, Francisco. If you're on your own and you want to do those 2 hours in a nice pace without rushing or having too many people around you, do you know what's the best time to make it?
I would say Spanish lunch time,
Yeah, you're right. Let's say 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
So why 3 p.m.? Okay, there is a reason for that. as I said earlier, at 10 o'clock, everybody wants to go in all the groups. They want to be done by noon, the latest. Of course, more and more tourists are going to visit the Prado. So now it's even for 2 or 3 months in advance, it's very complicated to get the tickets that you want for your time frame that you have in mind. But let me suggest this: if you have time and you're not in a rush, if you go at 3 o'clock, there is a little trick there, and you just mentioned that. First is Spanish lunchtime. Second, so that means that the number of visitors is gonna decrease
Hmm.
considerably. Second, from 5 p.m. until 7 when they closes in winter, the entrance is for free. There is a limited forum to go in, but the entrance is for free. So you can see from the outside, like about 3:30, there is a line already starting because you still need the ticket to go inside the museum, and you cannot book that free ticket online. Okay?
Okay.
So from 5 until 7, the entrance is for free. So what happens? Many people they wait and they don't go into the museum until 5. So there is a time frame there between 3 and 5 that is so quiet. I mean, you see people around and it is really quiet, and you don't have that noise and that
Yeah.
humming of the people around you and etc etc. So that would be the perfect time. So what happens is that if you do use those 2 hours of your time to do the visit in the way we have just mentioned here, and you take the last 15 minutes of those 2 hours to see the Bosch, Hieronymus
Mhm.
Bosch's work we have talked about, you are going to be there almost on your own
Right.
because it's going to be closer to 5 o'clock
Yeah.
when everybody has almost gone and they are waiting for all the mob to get into the
And
museum.
I mean, I think that you're giving a great, great tip. And especially if you go in the summer,
Yeah.
from 3 to 5 are the hot hours of the day.
And the air
So
conditioning in the Prado is
it
fantastic.
is amazing air conditioning.
Totally. Yeah, you're
So,
right. Yeah.
hey, you can, I mean, I think that's a great, great tip to first book in advance. Second, don't go in the morning. Go,
Yeah.
I mean, if you go, you're going to see more crowds. But from 2, 3 until 5, it is the perfect timing. You are so right, Jorge.
Correct.
So, Jorge, obviously, on your Madrid and Imperial Cities tour that you do, by the way, you can check Jorge's website, which is travelingwithjorge.com. You
Hmm.
will see his tour, Madrid and Imperial Cities. You take your people to the Prado Museum.
Of course.
Okay, I want to put you at the spot. Okay.
Oh, oh,
Aha.
I've done nothing.
What are your most important paintings? What are
Oh,
your ping, ping, ping
oh my God.
at the Prado? Ain't that? I know one, Las Meninas. Okay, Velázquez.
Yeah. I mean, okay, this is a question like if I ask you, which is your favorite song? You know,
Well, my favorite.
you
Uh,
love them three exactly the same. Um, what can I say? Okay, if I have to put one above any of them, obviously it would be Las Meninas. I mean, there is no doubt about that. And it was painted in 1656. Yeah, and Velázquez was the royal painter at the time, and yeah, to me that is the most important. Then it's not a ranking, but I mean, just from the top of my head, I would say the execution of May the 3rd by
okay,
Goya, right? Because the light used in there is absolutely beautiful.
of course.
Also, I would say another Goya, which is Saturn devouring his son, right?
Oh,
And that is part of his dark paintings, by around 1820, I think it was when it was done. It was one of those paintings that they were on the walls, right?
mhm.
And they, yeah, they had to tear it off. What else? Oh, I one of the pieces I love very much is the nude Maha.
Ah,
Okay, that was from
the
the
nude one.
yeah.
Could it be the
Yeah.
other one?
No, because it's there is a big story behind that painting regarding royal gossip, love affairs, etc., etc. Okay, then. There is another one that we haven't talked about, which is in one of the side rooms. That sometimes, if I see that I can have 5 spare minutes to make it, I do it. Which is the Crucifixion by John de Flanders. Okay,
Okay.
and yeah, and that was from the early 1500s. So another one could be. Um, oh yeah, of course. One I love it because it represents the beauty at the time. Totally uh, different to what the concept of beauty today is, and are the Three Graces, okay,
Okay.
by Rubens, and that is around 1630 something. What else can I say? Oh, by all means, the triptych of Hieronymus Bosch.
Bosch.
Okay,
Okay. Yes,
that's one
that's
of them. What else can I say over here? Oh, this is something you're gonna say, what? Yeah, and it's a religious theme that I love it.
you
Yeah.
religious. You like it? What?
Oh, come on. Which is the annunciation to Virgin Mary that she was pregnant of baby
Hmm?
Jesus, and it was by Fra Angelico.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh,
and
okay.
that is a beautiful painting. It's from the it's a
Great.
Renaissance 1400s, 1426, if I'm not mistaken, and well, of course, by all means, Velázquez, the Knight with the Man of the Chest,
Okay.
the one that you mentioned earlier
A
as well.
Greco.
That's yes, from. Oh, did I say Velázquez? I'm sorry.
Okay, no, Greco.
Yeah,
Greco.
Greco. Yeah, and which is the. Oh yes, there is another one, and this is emotional. The reason why I like it because I grew up, as everybody knows, in Malaga. And when I was very, very little, I remember my own Maria. She lived in a house with a portion of land. She was renting the house there. It was a very old house, but anyway, she made it cozy and beautiful. And she had a little pool there to irrigate all the trees, etc., etc. And she had a painting, which in fact was the top of a cardboard, right, of something, I don't know what. They had a painting. So she had it ordered just by a local artisan where she lived in Malaga, just to put like a kind of varnish on top of it, just to make it look like a real painting and have it framed. So she had that painting, a miniature of that painting, in her salon at her home. And it was the surrender of Breda, which
Okay.
is
Oh,
yeah, that's a beautiful painting, and it was also done by Velázquez, of
Velázquez.
course. And that is, I mean, the details also in that painting is absolutely incredible. But as I said, in this one, it plays
It's more.
also a little bit emotional role because every time I see it, I just comes to my mind, my beloved own Maria. Yeah. So,
That's
um,
a great selection of paintings.
yeah, yeah, and I don't know what else. I mean, there is so many. There
To
is
me,
so many.
on the list you just made, I would add one that is very, very, very sad. But every time I go, I feel something different, which is in the dark Goya paintings,
Oh yeah.
Sinking Dog.
Oh yeah. That's
It
another
is a
beautiful
big
one. Yeah.
painting. It's all beige. It's like a sand dune, and you can only see the face of a dog. You don't know if he's drowning in the sand. He's alone. It's like, oh my god, it turns my heart. It is like so beautiful. It's like, oh, puppy, let me help you. Ah, it's to me
Yeah.
that painting, it's so emotional, so beautiful,
It
so in
is.
art history, so futuristic. I mean,
Yeah.
you only see a beige painting with a beige dog.
Yeah.
So it's so, oh, I love that one. But anyway,
Yeah.
there's so much art in that museum, and I
That's
think
right. Yeah. I mean, that's they say if the collection that they have displayed together with the collection that they have not displayed because they don't have
mhm,
room for it, if they have everything, everything displayed, it would take you around a couple of months to see every single piece, stopping 20 seconds in front of each piece of art.
20, which is nothing. It's like,
20
wow,
seconds per
wow.
piece of art, and it will take you 2 months to see the entire thing. So imagine, the amount of art in the museum. But yes, guys out there, as Francisco mentioned, it's worth. visiting Madrid just for the sake of going to the Prado. If you love art, of course. I mean, if you are not interested in art, Madrid is also welcoming you.
A fun
And
city.
yeah,
But anyway, Jorge, thank you so much for this 2-hour itinerary inside of the Prado Museum. You're an expert in the Prado. You go there
well, I'm not
almost
an
daily.
expert in the Prado.
Well, but you go. I don't want to say daily, but on daily
No.
basis, but pretty much like 2, 3, 4 times a week. So you know more than anyone how to move around the museum. So thank you so much. We have learned a lot.
Well, thank you for
And
saying I'm an expert. I'm not.
you
I
are.
don't consider myself an expert, but thanks for your
I'll
words.
say it. You don't say it. I say
Thanks.
it.
Thank you so
My
much.
friend, it has been a great pleasure listening to you. What a great lecture. I shall see you next week. Because
Likewise, Francisco, it's been yeah, it's been nice just to explain all this, especially when I just came over from the Prado. Okay, and well, everybody out there, we know. Oh, by the way, this is something very important we forgot to say, Francisco, that photos are not allowed inside of the Prado.
oh, that's a good
Yeah,
one. Nope.
it's not allowed at all. No, with or without flash, not allowed. Okay,
And
and so what happens is that because of the gift shop is on the
it's
way
right
out,
there.
you can buy a postcard of any painting that you have displayed in the Prado.
Well, although one great thing that the Prado Museum has on their website
Oh
is you
yeah,
can
that's right.
download the pictures in very
Resolution.
high resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you
True.
like any of the paintings, they have all the paintings on their website, and you can download them with breathtaking resolution that you can then print. Okay,
True.
so
That's
it,
right.
yeah, this is something
Yeah.
I love about the museum. They don't allow you taking pictures, but they offer you the pictures in much better resolution that you can do with your telephone.
True. And guys, if you have any suggestions, any comments to say, and everything, our email is SpanishLoops@gmail.com. Also, now that we are in YouTube for a few chapters already, please subscribe, give us a like, share. You have no idea how much that is helping us. So,
Yes.
in advance, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening, joining us this week, and we shall see you next week.
Francisco, I'll see you
Great
next
pleasure.
week.
We
Okay?
love everybody. See you next week. Adios, amigos.
Bye. And as usual, we want to thank all our listeners for being there every week, letting us sharing our talks. Follow us in Spanish Loops in Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or your favorite platform.
And in Instagram, you can find us as the Spanish Loops Podcast, no spaces altogether. If you want to find us the quickest way, just Google Spanish Loops Podcast and you will find us. Hasta la vista, amigos.
See you next week.